Amish folks tend to keep to themselves, but every once in a while, a little snippet of secrecy comes to light and shocks everyone. From dentures for all, to weird courtship rituals, puppy mills, weird toys, and more, we've got quite the list today. Question for you: do you know the differences between Amish folks and Mennonite folks? I do, but I want to test your knowledge in the comments. Other than that, let's break down the bazaar. So if you are at all familiar with Amish communities, you might have realized that many young Amish folks are known to have some or all of their teeth removed, resulting in the need for dentures at a young age. Now, a lot of folks remove their teeth willingly to essentially prevent multiple visits to the dentist. And one of the reasons that they do this is because it's cost effective. Instead of keeping up with a lifetime of dentist visits that are more common in the English world than in their communities, just get it all done now. A study published in the U.S. National Library of Medicine's National Institutes of Health found that a large part of Amish youngsters whose teeth showed signs of tooth decay had been drinking non-fluoride water. So in that case, dental issues had begun early and paired with poor preventative care resulted in their teeth suffering the effects. The Amish do take their health seriously and strive to maintain a balanced lifestyle, but practicality and a preference for natural remedies are typical what guide their overall practices. So for instance, they're going to offer tooth extraction in cases of severe decay or infection because it's more affordable and accessible than other treatments. This is not a sign of neglect, but rather a reflection of their approach to healthcare. So for some, the ongoing issue of dental health in folks just wasn't really widely known until people saw proof of this on TLC's Breaking Amish. So in season 1, a now former Amish woman by the name of Rebecca revealed that she had dentures because she willingly had her teeth removed. Later in the series, she tried to convince her husband to do the same to save him money, and she's like, look, I sacrificed my own teeth, I couldn't afford to keep them. Now, if we wanted to talk about like actual health issues that tend to be more common in Amish communities, folks born into Amish families have become susceptible to some diseases from birth thanks to something known as the founder effect. So being vulnerable to conditions like severe combined immunodeficiency is a result of things like intermarriage or marrying people with a close family tie. Amish are traditional and are pretty strict about not having intercourse before marriage. But here's the thing, young adults who tend to get married around the age of like 20 to 22 usually start dating younger than that. They have the opportunity to socialize at functions at church or during home visits. Sunday night singing also provides a chance to meet and interact. Since premarital coitus is forbidden, they have to undergo a ritual called bundling or bed courtship. So this is when a young man is interested in a lady and he's taken to her room and he's gotta stay there till morning. But it's not as like naughty as it sounds. There is no contact. You've got a wooden board in the bed, or let's just tie everybody up in a sack until morning and you're just gonna lie there in bed together. So your options are talk, get to know each other, or just sleep. I'd be hoping my partner's chatty because there's no way I'd be able to sleep if I was tied up in a sack. Even just like sharing a bed. No, my brain would be on edge. Bed courtship is something that is done every 2 weeks, and this ritual is pretty much to create an opportunity for the couple to talk and get to know each other on a more intimate level without breaking their moral laws. Essentially, it's an old school version of Netflix and chill, just no Netflix or any sort of movie. That's not an Amish thing. So the Amish are known to pass on various trades to every new younger generation, and one that's been in the spotlight in recent years are their puppy mills. So these stand to profit a lot from the sales of furry friends that a lot of households love to have, and puppy breeding can be a pretty lucrative business. So there's a lot of Amish communities located in like Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Indiana that tend to have a lot of puppy mills. Now, dogs in these mills aren't exactly treated the best. They tend to be locked and held in cages until they're auctioned off or sold off to buyers. And they're raised similarly to livestock. And there's a lot of debate about whether dogs can handle these kind of conditions. They receive really harsh treatment. They're exposed to various diseases and infections. And at any given time, mills can have up to 1,000 dogs, all different breeds. Now, because puppy mills and backyard breeders choose profit over animal welfare, these animals don't really get proper vet care. So due to the neglect and harm that some dogs tend to experience, there's been a lot of calls to end this tradition and trade. So not so fun fact, roughly 90% of puppies in pet stores come from these mills. And a lot of retailers who buy animals from folks like the Amish who have these mills, they just take the word that animals are happy and healthy. So most of the toys on the shelf at your local toy store have a face. They have some sense of individuality. You can clearly see the difference between a Barbie or a Bratz doll or even Monster High gal, and choose according to your preferences. But Amish toys are actually faceless. Now, it might seem weird, but they have reasons why. Now, their way of life is not influenced by the vanity that other communities might be exposed to. Amish parents want their offspring to learn that God loves them as they are, and it doesn't matter how they look. So these faceless toys serve to train people to not be obsessed by looks. The toys would wear clothing similar to what Amish folks wear, and they're probably sewn by hand. So you're probably pretty used to capturing moments by taking photos. Like my camera rolls around like 12,000 photos right now. So while it's common for most folks to have like family albums, this just isn't the case for Amish folks. They have no idea what their great-grandparents looked like, and they don't like being captured on camera, so if they agree to be in an interview, they usually do it with their face hidden. Folks believe that because we are made in the image of God, having a documented image of you is like, having the image of God. The Amish also believe that having or holding a photo of somebody is a way of idolizing them, something that is a no-no. So the Amish community tends to speak a distinct dialect known as Pennsylvania Dutch, which is derived from German and influenced by English, and it's very specific to them. So it could sound strange or unusual to folks outside of the community. And it serves as a marker of Amish cultural identity and reinforces their separation from mainstream society. The use of this language reflects the Amish's commitment to preserving their traditions, also preserving their heritage and their distinct way of life. To outsiders, the use of Pennsylvania Dutch might be perplexing due to its unfamiliar sounds, vocabulary, and just overall grammatical structures. The language acts as a barrier that contributes to the perception of the community as insular and separate, making their conversations and interactions less accessible to folks like me who just don't understand the dialect. The preservation of this unique language further reinforces the Amish's distinct cultural identity, which, yeah, to each their own. Amish church music is typically sung without any musical accompaniment, and it's not common for them to play instruments. They consider stringed instruments like guitars and banjos to be the forms of self-expression that draw undue attention to the individual, so they generally avoid them. However, in certain communities, small harmonicas or mouth harps might be allowed. Additionally, the Amish don't participate in dancing to music or songs. Now, while a few Amish individuals might write their own songs, it's not a widespread practice. And hey, while we're on the topic, we might as well cover hymns as well. The Osbund is a hymnal that holds significant historical and cultural importance within the Amish community. It is a centuries-old collection of religious songs that have been passed down throughout generations. And what sets this apart is that, well, it lacks musical notes or any form of written musical notation. Instead, the hymns are sung and learned through an oral tradition, where melodies are taught and preserved by memory. Now, the unique aspect of the Osbund reflects the Amish commitment to simplicity and their emphasis on community and worship. By not relying on any kind of written musical score, the Amish ensure that their worship remains focused on the spiritual message of the hymns, rather than being dependent on formal musical training or performance. Barn raising is a time-honored tradition in the Amish community that exemplifies their strong sense of cooperation and communal spirit. So when a member of your local community needs to build or repair a barn, everybody comes together to assist in the construction process. This collective effort involves not only the physical labor, but also the coordination of resources and planning. The Amish view barn raising as a vital expression of their shared values and interdependence, emphasizing the importance of mutual support and unity. This practice fosters a sense of camaraderie and strengthens the bonds within the community. It also showcases the Amish commitment to simplicity, self-sufficiency, and the preservation of their agricultural way of life. Barn raising is a remarkable display of teamwork and solidarity, creating a sense of pride and accomplishment for everyone involved. In the Amish community, beards hold significance in relation to a man's relationship status. Amish men are typically clean-shaven until they are married, and at that point, they let their beards grow as a symbol of their commitment to marriage and family. And the length and style of the beard may vary among different Amish affiliations or districts. Now, this practice could appear peculiar to those outside the community, because it kind of diverges from mainstream societal norms. In contemporary culture, facial hair is often seen as a personal grooming choice or a fashion statement, rather than a marker of marital status. And the emphasis on beards as a visual representation of relationship status in the Amish community highlights their distinct customs and traditions, which, yes, can seem unusual or unconventional to folks who are unfamiliar. Historically speaking, men who kept mustaches were making a fashion statement that indicated that they were wealthy. So the men who also went to war also had mustaches. Since Amish men do not identify themselves as wealthy or engage in such, they don't have mustaches. And finally for today, the Amish tradition of ending formal schooling at the 8th grade level could appear perplexing or concerning to folks who aren't in their community. Now, the decision to limit education beyond this point is rooted in the Amish desire to prioritize practical skills and values that align with their agricultural and craftsmanship way of life. They believe that a strong emphasis on formal education could lead to worldly influences and a potential erosion of their distinct cultural identity. Instead, the Amish focus on teaching their descendants essential life skills such as farming, homemaking, and craftsmanship, which they view as vital for sustaining their self-sufficient and close-knit community. This limited educational approach can be seen as incompatible with the broader societal emphasis on higher education and career prospects. And yes, concerns may arise about the potential impact on the individual's future opportunities and ability to navigate an increasingly complex world outside the Amish community. But hey, that's been it for me once again, folks. I've been Alsace, your resident emo girly. See y'all next time I buzz in over here at Bumblebee.